Today I'll show you how I do water changes on my 180-gallon Reef. Stay tuned. Water changes are not something we typically like to do because they require a lot of work and it's not a lot of fun to do. But they are a necessary part of the hobby at some points, and you need to get old water out and new water in. So I'm going to show you how I accomplish that task with my system that I've set up. And I can pull 26 gallons out of here and replace it with 26 gallons of new salt water with very little effort. And just to clarify, this is only for changing the water, not for cleaning anything else. So I typically will do a easy water change, which is what I'm going to be showing you here, every 2 weeks at least. But sometimes if things are getting a little bit dirty, I will stir up the sand bed, vacuum that, blow off the rocks. But if things are looking okay, or if I just don't have the time, I'll just do the easy water change because it doesn't take much effort, as you'll see. And that's what I'll be showing here. First, I need to start with some fresh RO water, and this is where I get it. This is my water change station and my RODI reservoir. So up here on this top bucket is where I have my RODI filter system in place, and it fills up this bucket right here. I have a float switch attached to the top portion there. So I turn this thing on. I have a little valve right here, which I can turn that on. It starts making water, and it will fill up until it hits the float switch and shuts itself off. And the wastewater just goes into the laundry sink right there. So I first start with a full tank of water up here, and then I need to get water down into my mixing station. So I have a valve right here. I open this valve and just drain the bucket from the top down to the bottom, and this is where I'll be mixing my salt water. So I've already done the mixing this morning, so it's all ready to go. And let me show you what's down here. So in my bucket, I start with, there's about 25 or 26 gallons. It's probably close to 26 gallons of water in here. And once I fill that up, I have a heater which I can turn on and heat the water up. I have a mixing pump, which is right down there in the middle, which helps stir the salt water up. And I've also got a circulating pump right down here, which I'll be using to pump the water upstairs. So when I turn on the circulating pump, it comes from the bottom around to the side, and the way I have the valves right now, it goes right back up and into the tank. So it's just doing a loop right now, mixing all the salt water up. So it is ready to go now. I need to get that upstairs. But before I can do that, I need to get the old water out of the tank. And let me show you how I do that. I don't like carrying buckets, so I tried to make this as easy as I could on myself. So the first thing I need to do is get 25 gallons out of this tank. So what I did was, if this will focus, a while ago I basically put a mark here. I know that if I take five 5-gallon buckets out of my tank, my water level in the tank will come down to here, which will be 25 gallons out of my system. So instead of using buckets, I'm going to drain the water directly out of my tank down to that line, and that'll be my 25 gallons out, and then I'll be able to put 25 gallons back in. And I came up with a couple of little ways to help myself do this, and let me show you what I use. So first I made this little U-pipe, which I can put into the tank. You'll see I put some screen filters on either end. That's so the fish don't get caught and get sucked into the pipe. And then I just put this into the tank over the side. And you'll notice that level is right about here. So if I ever started draining water out of the tank and I forgot and I walked away, it's never going to pull more water out than I actually want it to. So that's why I made the cut right there. It's kind of a little safety thing. That way it doesn't just drain the whole tank if I forget and get sidetracked. Next, I've got a length of hose, and this hose is going to go from my tank here, connect it right there. It'll go into the closet, and I have a laundry chute with an access panel in there, and I'm going to open that up and send the hose directly down to the basement to my laundry sink, which is right about here. So I have this hose here, and it's got some quick connects. So I'm going to snap one end onto my little adapter there, and the other end will go into the sink, and I'll be able to drain my water out. And this also has a couple of little nozzles on each end, and I'll show you what I use them for in just a little bit. All right, here I have the hose in place, and you'll notice the valves are still closed. And that hose just heads right down there and comes out down here at the bottom of the chute into the laundry tub. And then I have a clip here to keep this hose from flying out when the water starts coming out of it. And there's also a valve on the other side of this, which is closed right now as well. All right, so I am ready to go. I'm going to shut off the return pump, my circulation pumps, my auto top off, my skimmer. I'm going to shut everything down that doesn't need to be running while I'm doing my water change. And then what I'm going to do is basically open this valve and open the other one on the other side. And I didn't even plan this, but that's how it worked out. Apparently there's still some water left over in this hose from my last water change. So when I open it up on this side and I open it up down below, gravity pulls the water out of the hose and starts to siphon for me. So it basically automatically drains down into the laundry sink. And then in the end, when I'm pumping water back up and it's finished pumping and I can't pump any more up, I close both valves, and it traps a little bit of water in the hose, which will be ready for the next time I do a water change. All right, I've got everything shut down, and you'll notice I also dim the lights. That's because some of these corals are going to be exposed temporarily to the air, and I don't want the bright lights beating down and frying them, so I always just dim them pretty low. So now that we're ready to go, I just need to simply open this valve. Nothing has happened yet. Let's go downstairs. And then I just need to simply open this side. And you'll see the water just automatically starts coming out, which is pretty awesome. So now I'll just go back upstairs and monitor the situation. So here we are back upstairs, and you can see the water has already started to leave the tank. And now I just need to wait until the water line gets down to here, at which point I will shut this valve off. I'll go downstairs, shut the other valve off, and I will connect it to the saltwater bucket and pump the water back upstairs. And while we're waiting for it to drain fully, I guess now's a good time to take a peek in here, and you'll see that the corals do get exposed to the air, which they don't really seem to mind. I try and minimize the time that they're out of the water as much as I can, but the whole process takes about 15 to 20 minutes, and they always seem to be okay with it. They've just grown from the rocks all the way up to the surface, and you can see they've all pretty much got a flat top now because they've all hit the water surface. They can't go any further. And this side in particular, I really need to get in here and just frag some stuff back, because those inlets are at the water surface. You can see that they are already blocking the water coming back in. I need to just frag it back and make another channel for this water to flow, because it's starting to impede the flow in my tank. All right, as you can see, we're right about at the level where I want to be. So I'm going to go ahead and close the valve to stop the water from coming out. And we're going to go downstairs and change the lines around. I've closed the valve on this end as well. Just take this hose. This might be difficult with one hand. We'll see if I can do it. Here we go. And that just clicks into place. So now, I go over to my little control board right here, and I'm going to shut off the mixing pump, shut off the heater, and I've only got the main pump, which is that guy down there. So what I need to do is stop the flow going into the tank. I need to open the flow to the nozzle. Now I need to open the hose. So now the hose is pressurized. The water wants to go up there. We just need to go up to the other end and let the water out. I'm back up at the tank, and you'll notice I moved my little gadget here from the top into the sump. And that is mainly because, believe it or not, it's an extra, I don't know, about 4 feet or so. Actually makes a difference. The pump that I selected downstairs was probably not the best choice. That last 4 feet of head pressure definitely makes a difference with the water coming back in. So I refill it into the sump, and I just monitor the situation. I'm going to turn on my return pump and just push water back up top. So I got that on now. So there we go. The tank is now filling up again. It's coming from the bucket downstairs into the sump. Then my return pump is pushing it back up into the tank. So if you're going to do anything like this and you are sizing your pumps, make sure you pay special attention to the head height, because I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to it, and it really would have made a difference. If I had a little bit of a stronger pump, I wouldn't have had to fill into my sump. I can do it up here, it just takes longer. So now we just wait for it to fill. Alright, so the water is just about back to where it should be. See the water starting to go back over the overflow. And so let me shut the return pump off. The return pump pumps it out a little bit faster than I'm returning it, so I'm just going to shut that off and give it a chance to catch up. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Looks like the tank is full again. I just need to clean everything up. Just let the last of the water get in there. It's almost there. And that was it. I just did a 25-gallon water change in very little time. Didn't even get my hands wet. Didn't have to carry a single bucket. And yeah, so that's how I do my water changes. So if you guys have any questions or comments, leave them below. If you want to see more videos like this, hit that subscribe button. And I guess I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching.